We've had our youth intake. We have an amazing player here in Sam Muscat, and yet I'm sat here knowing deep down inside we're probably never going to see this guy develop because FM25's coming out soon. But you know what? Let's not be distracted. This guy looks like a bloody good striker. And yeah, he was the best player of the intake. So something to celebrate today. And well, hopefully we are going to be ending the episode today celebrating as well, because we are in the Champions League quarter-final. The draw has finally happened. And for episode number 70, we're playing against Borussia Dortmund, managed by Nuri Sahin. Yes, the former Dortmund player has now been manager of Dortmund for 11 years. He's not won much with them, it has to be said. In fact, you can see here, the last time that Dortmund won anything was the Bundesliga 4 years ago. I'm sure that looking at us as a fairly beatable team here in the Champions League as one of the newcomers, in and amongst, it has to be said, some fairly well-established European elite. As for the league, things aren't going so well in the league. Let's not worry about that today. Today, it's all about the Champions League. Let's run the intro and get straight into things. Yes, folks, how is it going? And welcome back. It's episode number 70 of Park to Prem here with Wanderers already. Thank you for the support on the series. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. As well, let's be honest, we're approaching FM25 season sooner rather than later. Now, here is the lie of the land for things today. We are going to be doing the 2 games against Dortmund, and I'm not going to worry about the Premier League, and I'm also not going to worry about the FA Cup because we've been given what I feel like should be a winnable draw. We are going to be playing Sheffield United. Yeah, that is right. If we look here at the, I don't want to look at the previous yet. I want to look at the previous round, the quarterfinals here. You can see Coventry knocked out Manchester United. Wolves knocked out Liverpool. All of a sudden, we're kind of the favourites to win the FA Cup. I would love to do it. And with respect to Sheffield United, we should definitely be beating them. Now, in terms of the matches since we were last here, just 3 games played, 2 of those in the league. The first match was the FA Cup quarter-final against Bournemouth. This game, the scoreline doesn't really reflect how comfortable it was. It was a commanding performance. We were 2 goals up in this game. Carl Flood got a really early goal. Sadly, he did pick up an injury. The good news, though, he is back fit today, and I'm glad he's back fit today because he's probably our best player. But yeah, not a convincing win in terms of scoreline, but performance-wise, a lot to be happy about. But then again, maybe the Bournemouth game should have been a warning because in the very next game against Leicester, we couldn't beat them either. Yeah, they had 1 shot, we had many, we didn't score. We've had this happen on a few occasions this year, and to make matters worse, Gavin Wallace got injured. You can see here, has done a fitness test ahead of the game today. Whilst he could technically feature in it, I'm probably just going to give him a rest anyway. And well, as for the most recent game, a good result finally. I think it's safe to say 3-0 against Aston Villa. Sheldon, Brennan, Dorrington with the goals in this one. Rashid Mohammed got man of the match with 2 assists to his name. Again, just turning into one of our best players, it feels like, over the course of the last year. Great to get a win there. Sadly, because of the draw against Leicester, we still find ourselves down in 6th place. Worth noting now, everyone has played the same number of games as one another, so things are a little clearer in terms of the picture at the top of the table. We are 4 points away from Manchester United in 4th. Much like last year, I feel like we've really got to target 5th place as our best chance of getting Champions League football. Anything beyond that looks like a tall order. At the top of the table is the Battle of North London. Currently Tottenham, I don't want to say it too loudly, they could win silverware. Now, unfortunately for us, Andy White still coming back from injury, still not fit, you can see here. The heart is not very filled up. Fair match fitness, no match sharpness. I'm not going to risk him naturally in this game. So it means that we're going to go to the 11 that, let's be honest, has played a fair few of our games lately. It's going to be Sheldon on the left, Rashid Mohammed on the right, and Brennan through the middle, who, I'll be honest, just continues to get better and better and better. He really has made the most of this opportunity with Andy White injured to stake his claim to be a regular player in our team. And he's also got quicker. I feel like his pace was an issue once upon a time. I feel like both his acceleration and pace have gone up a little bit since, yeah, he signed for us. Yeah, acceleration up by 3, pace up by 2. That's pretty impressive gains over the last 3 years, especially because he's in his early 20s. If he had a bit more potential and could get that pace up a little bit higher, I'd be looking at him as one of our main men. Saying all of that, we're going to keep the faith in him today. In terms of players with ratings in the last 5 games, you can see Rashid Mohammed and Sheldon leading the way. Elsewhere, Ajari at right wing back has been in a little bit of a renaissance. He had a bit of a wobbly patch, but in the last 5 games, he has stepped up. In terms of going into this game against Dortmund away from home, I believe they are favourites for this game. As I've already identified, they've not won anything in the last few years. They've been unable to challenge Bayern Munich. Somewhat unsurprisingly, perhaps. At the same time, I can't pretend that we've won a lot of stuff either. In terms of teams that we could have come up against, though, definitely could have been harder than this one. But saying all of that, it's still a very good team. In goal, they've got Restes, who is one of the best goalkeepers in Football Manager, a super good young player, not the best aerial reach. Maybe Andy White can bully him in the air, although he's injured. So I get, maybe Brennan can bully him in the air. I just immediately assume Andy White's going to play for us every game. Makes me sad he's been injured for so long. Profundi is their key man. The Italian stallion himself is an absolutely crazy player, it has to be said. Definitely head and shoulders above our players. I feel like on an individual basis, they maybe have the edge. In terms of overall squad depth, I think that's where we maybe I'm biased, could be slightly better than Dortmund. Anyway, we're going to get into this game away from home first leg. Of course, we played away from home against Lyon in the first leg last round. We won that first game 3-2. It really set us up nicely for that home game where we were able to come home and press home an advantage. In terms of my expectations for this game here, in a weird way, I wouldn't mind a 0-0. There's not been a lot of chances early on. Maybe Profundi is going to be the man to change that here. But yeah, with 21 minutes played, they've not created a lot. We've not created a lot either. Well, there's a lot of build-up for this free kick. Is Anson going to be called into action? He is. It's shot. Oh, my word. I mean, that's bloody good, isn't it? That's a good free kick. Yep. Don't know what else to say. We get the behind the goal angle here, which I'll be honest, it's one of the game couldn't have picked a worse camera angle there. I'll trust it went right in the top corner. Okay, well, a goal down inside the first 20 minutes wasn't exactly how we wanted to start this game, but now we've got to show a response. This is an unfamiliar kind of position to find our team in. Of course, it's our first European campaign. There's not many two-legged games you play in English football, with the exception, ironically, of the Carabao Cup semi-final, where we lost the first leg. I feel like in European ties, it's almost expected that if you're away from home in the first leg, you're going to have to come back from behind at some point. And now, well, the players are going to be tested on the big stage, under the microscope. Can we turn up and, well, deliver a performance of quality? Lloyd Weston, great little ball to Sheldon. He's going to lay it inside to Flood. The build-up plays nice. Brennan is in behind. He had time to take a touch. I don't know why he volleyed it and it's gone wide. With just 5 minutes left of this first half, if I want to find a positive, they've not created a lot, Dortmund, and the one chance they scored was a set piece. It was a free kick, a moment of absolute quality. And from open play, well, we've kept them quiet for the most part. Sadly, we've not been as potent going forward as perhaps I've come to expect. Over the last few months, we've made a habit of grabbing a lot of goals in a few games. I'm going to hope that maybe the fortunes can change here, as Hatswell lays it to Rashid Mohammed. Ajaria is on the overlap on the right-hand side. The number 2 now has the ball and gives it back to Hatswell. Has the option to go back wide, gives it back to Ashley Phillips. Flood, Sheldon, nice build-up play, dink to Rashid Mohammed, who chests it down, tight angle, squares it. There was no one in the middle, but it's not away from danger. It's back to Sheldon. It's blocked. A couple of chances go a-begging. And Dortmund get it away and live to fight another day. That was a real chance for a goal before the break. It's not going to materialise. And it's 1-0 to them at the break. I'm going to tell the players they've been terrible and they need to sort it out. Flood seems anxious. Look, Carl, I'll cuddle Carl personally. Keep going. You have the ability to make a difference. He's inspired. He just needs a little bit of a cuddle sometimes, does Carl. I mean, in terms of personnel, Sheldon is struggling a little bit for fitness in this game. I kind of said, didn't I? I didn't want to bring in Andy White. I feel like I've got to call upon Andy White in a match in a moment like this. He did pass his fitness test. His condition isn't that good and he doesn't have match sharpness, but 45 minutes, maybe this is a chance to get him back on the horse now. We can give him some minutes on off the bench, maybe in our midweek game against Crystal Palace. And then for the second leg against Dortmund, he'll be ready and raring to go. That's the ideal scenario. Worst case, he gets injured here and I cry a lot. Anyway, Dortmund are on the attack. 10 minutes into this second half. Profundi, goal scorer, trying to turn provider. Lamas inside. Luque scores his 4th goal of the season and makes it 2-0. We had so many players back here. We're swarming. We look like we're in a really good position to deal with the ball coming in, and yet this drag back to the edge of the box caused us issues. Luque was left unmarked and he tucked into the bottom corner. Well, Anson had no chance. Right, I've got to shout demand more here. I feel like I've got to change things up as well. I don't feel like we've been that bad in this game. Sean Steele, the youngster, come on down. Meredith on for Rashid Mohammed. Lloyd Weston off. You know what? Gavin Wallace, on you come. At the back, look at the ratings. It's an absolute disaster. I don't want to make all the subs, but actually, you know what? I'm going to make all the subs. Arian B is going to come in to the team. I don't want Dorrington getting sent off. And the bizarre thing is, we're 2 goals down. They've had 2 shots on target. We've been good in this game. This has been a story of our time, I feel like, in recent days and recent games. I look at the Leicester game. I kind of look at the game against Bournemouth where we only won 2-1. Games where we dominate, but we just lack the final product is 3-0. And I'm going to be honest, this is now getting embarrassing. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, at 2 goals down, maybe I look at things and go, you know what? It's not going to plan, but we've got the home leg. And at home, I back us. And you know what? At home, I back us. And I know we're capable of just running rampant and scoring a load of goals. We are leaving ourselves with a mountain to climb. Annoyingly, the tactical changes hadn't even gone through. We'll make the subs now. Too little, too late in terms of the subs that I made. Looking at Steele, looking at Meredith, looking at Wallace. I need some inspiration in the final third. And instead, I might be watching Dortmund score again. They've scored it. It's 4-0. Our season is just being Thanos snapped in front of my very eyes. Oh dear. I mean, what do you say? Profundi whips it in back post. And Ruout there just wins the header. Yikes. I will say, they've had 5 shots on target, 4 have gone in. It's definitely been a game where they've made the most of the opportunities, but yeah, I mean, unless we get a goal or maybe 2 goals, this game is going to be done before the second leg. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to come back and do the second leg. I'm going to back our players as best I can. But what do you say about the way this game has played out? Is it just bad luck? Is that what you point to it as? Is it just one of those football manager moments where it feels like the game's decided? You're not doing well in the Champions League anymore. After our league stage, I'll be honest, where we only slipped up once, I was really having high hopes for this competition. And as I've kind of implied in previous videos, a lot of the eggs were in the Champions League basket. All of a sudden, FA Cup success might be all we're looking for, unless I was going to say Andy White could turn it around. He shoots at the goalkeeper. It was a golden opportunity wasted. And whilst we still have the corner, is that going to be a moment we look back on and go, if we score there, maybe things are different? We've earned another corner. I need to demand more. I don't know what I'm watching from the players here. I don't like what I'm watching from the players here. I'm looking for a moment of inspiration. Andy, can you deliver it? He very nearly did. Restes saves it. He distributes it quickly. We've created opportunities in this game. 12 shots, 8 on target, 13 shots. You know, we're doing plenty in this game. But the finishing has been lacking. And I feel like unless we get a late goal here, 4 goals is going to be just too much. 3 goals feels like too much as well, but it maybe gives us the slimmest of chances. Flood, Steele, Hadswell shoots over. We're on the attack, but we just can't find a way through. 3 minutes of added time at the end of this game. Frankly, embarrassing. Not a good performance. I don't even feel like I don't even know how to feel. I was going to say it's not a good performance. I don't feel like it's an awful performance either, but obviously the scoreline makes it look really quite bad. The fact that goalkeeper's got the joint highest rating on the pitch maybe says a lot. May or may not have just ballsed up the team talk there. Editing Jack, make sure you edited that out. I've got a week to dust off and try and come back. Nicky Meredith, by the way, not scored in 7 matches. Yeah, compared to last year, it's been a sad state of affairs for him, really. Lloyd Weston reaches the yellow card limit. Well, I'll tell you what, Gavin Wallace, you better stay fit, son, because I need you at left back. Our players are tired. Our players are broken. I need Andy White fit. I've got Crystal Palace to deal with. I'll see you in a week. I'm not going to lie, after that Dortmund game, I was sat thinking, Caleb Anson, did he let me down? Is he not good enough? Midweek, we take on Crystal Palace. Decided to play a fairly full-strength team. We won 4-0. Anson got man of the match. Yeah, it was just one of those days, I think, at Dortmund. Maybe he'll have a happier hunting ground at home in this next game. With that result, by the way, the 4-0 win, we have moved back up into 5th place. We're tied with Liverpool, and, well, we're looking at Man City just ahead of us. In terms of our remaining games for the year, just to kind of mention this now, I'll sort it this way so we can see them at the top. Got Sheffield United in the FA Cup semi-final. We then have Liverpool in the league, which could be a big game. But beyond that, West Ham in 8th, Fulham in 10th, Leeds in 18th, Brentford in 15th. 4 very, very winnable games to end the season. Saying all of that, of course, I just would like to win this game here if we can against Dortmund. 4 goals down. We need an absolute miracle. Andy White, you can see here, excellent condition, no match sharpness whatsoever. Gavin Wallace, you can see here, did not need a fitness test. That's a relief because, of course, our normal left-back option not available for today's game. In terms of the rest of the team, not too many surprises here, of course. Andy White starting for the first time in almost 3 months. That torn calf muscle or torn thigh muscle, whatever muscle it was he tore in his leg, it was a bad one. It's good to see him back. Fortunately, as well, his physicals haven't taken too much of a hit. Very excited to see how he maybe can do for us in this one. Of course, in an ideal world, he scores 4 goals for me and we complete one of the greatest comebacks of all time. This is going to take a mammoth ask. And I'm going to be honest, going into this one, and I don't know why, I've got a feeling it's possible. I can't... Look, we've had a few absolute blowouts in the Champions League. We're at home. Yeah, we're 4 goals down. Weirder things have happened in the Champions League. That's all I'm going to say. It probably is just delusion kicking in, just to be absolutely clear. I'm fully aware of that, but I've got to believe that we can try and craft out something in this game where early on we're having a load of chances. Could we get off to the best possible start via a set piece? Ball's whipped in. Restes in goal. I mentioned his lack of aerial reach. Was not on display there. He plucked that ball out of the air confidently. Of course, if Dortmund get 1 goal in this game, then it is just kind of GG, go next territory. We will be out of the Champions League, and I will just have to focus on trying to get 5th in the league and hope that's enough to secure Champions League football going forward. Anyway, Ajari has picked up the ball in a little bit of space here. 10 minutes into this game, we need an early goal. That's a lovely little run. Is there end product? Is there a ball in? It's pulled back to Flood. What a pass by Ajaria. 3 more. 3 more needed. Is it the vampire in Sesame Street who does the counting? I feel like I need to do that. 3. That's how many more we need. That ball, by the way. What vision to see that pass. Just for the record, I don't think I've ever actually watched Sesame Street. I think there's a vampire who counts in Sesame Street. And, well, I want you guys to count along with me. We need 3. Can we make it so we only need 2? Andy White, Sheldon, in behind. Little on his lonesome. Holds up the play well. Shoots. Wasn't far wide. We're a goal up, we're playing well. Praising the players, I feel like, is the name of the game here. We want to get their tails up and wagging. And well, we're going to see if Ajaria can turn provider again. Great ball to Andy White. Options in the middle. Back wide with Ajaria. Cuts inside. Doesn't shoot. Pulls it to Flood. And the keeper parries it onto the woodwork. It hit the outside the post. It was a chance. Denied by the goalkeeper. Gavin Wallace is still over the corner. We've looked threatening from these on occasion this year. This one, not one of our more threatening ones. It's dealt with. And I'm going to wait for the highlight to end, knowing full well we need goals, and we still cannot afford to concede. Dortmund are on the attack. They hit the outside of the post of their own corner. And this is horrible to watch, I'll be honest. You know, I'm sure for Dortmund fans, they were hoping, you know, no early goal for Wanderers, just a nice chilled out game. Doesn't matter if we lose by 1 or 2, we'll still have the result. The way things are going right now, I wouldn't bet against there being 3 more goals in this game. Wallace is in behind, lays it back to Flood, the goal scorer. Hatswell running the midfield, gives it to Wallace. Nice build-up play here. Is the end product. Little give and go. I don't know why he shot there, I'll be honest. I think the moment's gone to his head. Dortmund have now kind of weathered a storm, it feels like. We got that early goal, you know, if there was going to be a deluge of goals, I feel like they needed to come sooner rather than later. And now that they've survived that, maybe they'll back themselves to just tighten things up at the back and not get caught up in the occasion. Hatswell bringing the ball through the midfield, lays it inside to Sheldon. He's dropping deep, of course, as that complete forward. Wallace is now looking for the overlap. There's no one at the near post. He has to get it across goal. Fails to do so. Now Dortmund looking to launch a counter of their own. It's played in. Ashley Flips heads it on. Diakite is there to keep it alive. And Lamas now has a little bit of space inside. Dinks it back wide to Gio Reyna. A long-term Dortmund servant in this save game. And he passes it to Simeon Profundi, who scores again, and I am not having fundy right now. This is not fun. Of course, Giovanni Reyna, technically partially English. Maybe in a season or 2 we'll sign him, although I imagine he's getting on a little bit in this universe now. Powerful finish at the near post. I feel a bit bad for Caleb Anson. I don't feel like it was his fault we lost the last game. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the camera here, but there's a highlight happening in the corner. We need a goal. We need to ratchet up the pressure if we can. Hanswell, oh my word. Corby, what is that? In the world of basketball, right, you shout Kobe, don't you, when you go for the big 3. Here, in this Football Manager universe, you shout Corby when you go for your long shot. The modern-day Yeboah bangs it into the top corner. I mean, saying all of that, as much as I enjoyed that goal, we still need another goal, really, before half-time, I fear here. I'm going to praise the players again. 10 minutes left of the half. 5-2 to Dortmund on aggregate. 5-3 with 45 minutes to play. I don't know if I was a Dortmund fan, I'd start to get a little nervous then. Saying all of that, they've looked decent going forward in these, well, 2 games that we've played, and they're going forward again here. Profundi runs, Anson collects. Of course, 2 Italians doing battle in the final third. Caleb Anson, still not capped for Italy. I still dream of him representing England one day. Hatswell, the goal scorer, to Sheldon. Nice build-up play here. Rashid Mohammed has Andy White ahead. Could go on his own. Does go on his own. Thought we were going to see another wonder goal. Restes denies him. Corner. We love corners in this house. We love a Mother corner. We love a corner kick. We love, well, all kinds of corners, including that one there. That's going to go in the back of the net. Dorrington scores. He missed his initial chance. It fell back to him perfectly, and he just tapped it into the open net. It's not a pretty goal, it's not a beautiful goal, but it is a football goal, and it makes it 3-1. Dorrington's header, I think it either hit the woodwork or was saved, fell straight to him, poked it in with his foot, and it's 5-3. Dortmund fans, if you're watching, are you getting nervous yet? I would be. We look good in this one. I'm going to tell the players I'm delighted with the performance. Keep it up. I'm looking actually to make some changes here. Bernard Brennan not starting this game. I'm going to bring in for Andy White. He's not been at his best. He's lacking a little bit of match sharpness. In terms of the rest of the team, I don't think there's any changes I really need to or want to make right now. We're doing what we need to. We've got 2 goals in our favour in the first half. Just need 2 goals in our favour in the second half. Of course, at this point, Dortmund, I imagine, are going to start to try and shut up shop and just park the bus a little. They're playing with an anchorman and a halfback. There is no adventurousness coming from their defensive mid duo going forward. So with that in mind, I'm going to make an early change here. Flood is going to play as an advanced playmaker on attack. Hatswell, I'm going to switch to Segundo Volante on attack. And I'm going to ask the players just to focus the play through the middle here. I want to try and abuse their defensive midfielder setup. With a halfback and anchorman, no one's going to be stepping up. And with our offset centre mids, I'm hoping we can maybe carve out some passing lanes to try and get the ball through the middle and thread it to the front strikers. Henderson tries to pick out Ajari. It doesn't quite work out. But I'll tell you what, Dortmund are sitting deep here. They are playing scared. Rashid Mohammed, Sheldon scores. There's a VAR check. There is a VAR check. If it's 4-1 here, with half an hour left, we start to dream. We start to believe. Is the goal going to count? VAR review. It's going to count. Okay, I said pre-game I believed, and I don't know why I believe, but now I'm actually starting to believe. There's half an hour left. We still need another goal. Ajaria to Mohammed. What a ball to Sheldon. The 2 Reading lads linking up. A goal made in Reading, scored in London. I mean, praise the players again. Get the green happy smiley faces. We have to stay on the front foot. We need another goal. We can't afford to concede either, mind you, and that is an awful defensive header by Ajaria that almost led to our own downfall. The header goes wide of the mark. It's 5-4 on aggregate. Time is trickling away here. I don't want to go too attacking too soon, but we're hitting a point now where I feel like I need fresh legs. Townsend, on you come. Winger on attack. Wallace, just go winger on attack, mate. The advantage of having wider kind of defenders who can come forward like this is moments like this. I think in the midfield, I'm going to take off Hatswell. I know he's played well, but he is tired in this one. McHugh on Newcombe. Going to play him, I think, actually, as a centre mid on attack. I mean, I've got to throw men forward. I'm going to go to a very kind of old school 3-4-3, but it's a super attacking shape here now. I may be inviting Profundi to hurt me here with no defensive midfielder, but there comes a moment really in matches where you've got to forgo that defensive mentality and just do everything you can to get a goal. We've gone to the very attacking mindset here. There's 7 minutes left and counting. They are time wasting in the corner. Dortmund are rocked here. They are nervous. We need a goal, though. We need a hero. Wallace with space. Hit it on his weaker foot. It wasn't far wide. 2.5 minutes left here. We have kind of done everything that we can do. There's minutes left. Wallace forward. Townsend forward. Flood centre attacking mid. I mean, I'm just drawing shapes now. That's where we're at. I'm going to really, I think, shuffle the deck here. I'm bringing in another striker. Sean Steele on Newcombe. Rashid Mohammed, inside forward on attack. Does this look like a mental breakdown in formation form? Yes. Yes, it does. It's fine, I think. You know what, Flood? You are still going to have to play as the regista. In transition, just distribute it over the top. We've got to look to go longer now. I'm going to up the passing directness. We can look to pass into space, although I don't think there's going to be a lot of space to find here. And, well, we have 3 minutes for a goal. I'm doing everything I can to try and get a goal. And it's not going to happen. I'll be honest, there was a moment where we made it 4-1 where I really thought it could happen, and it just hasn't. We crash out the Champions League 5-4. I mean, a great leg. It has to be said. The second leg was great. The first leg, obviously, is what undid us. And yeah, we got in the quarterfinal. Still a really good achievement to get that far. We received £9 million for that. Flood got man of the match. It wasn't enough, sadly. And now for us, just all attention has to kind of turn to this end of run to the season. Now, of course, the FA Cup, we're taking on Sheffield United. I feel confident we should be beating them and playing an FA Cup final tomorrow. I know I'm really setting myself up for disappointment saying all of that. To be honest, with how tight things are in the league at the moment, we're probably going to be coming back on the final day with something to play for positionally. Obviously, top 5 is the aim. Right now, our destiny is entirely in our own hands. Hopefully, that's still the case when we're back next episode. Saying all of that, appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. We are ending season number 8, or is it not? Are we in season 9 now? My word, it's season number 9. We're ending it tomorrow. I'll see you guys next time. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.